Are you absolutely sure that every single way you show your love is actually being received happily by your dog? Sometimes those tight hugs or those sweet little pets that we think are so wonderful are actually secretly creating immense stress and pure fear for our four-legged best friends. When you accidentally force them to endure things they absolutely hate, it does not just deeply damage their mental health, it can also completely shatter the profound trust and the beautiful bond that you have worked so hard to build over the years. In our video today, we are going to decode 6 common things that humans do that are actual nightmares for dogs, all based on highly reputable scientific research. Please make sure to watch until the very last second, because reason number 6 will absolutely make you rethink the way you leave them home alone every single day. 1. Being hugged way too tightly. In our human world, hugs are the ultimate symbol of deep love and warm protection. However, in the complex body language of dogs, having your arms wrapped tightly around their neck and back actually translates to a physical threat and a complete loss of their freedom. A psychological data analysis published back in 2016 by the University of British Columbia in Canada revealed a truly shocking truth. A staggering 81% of dogs being hugged in online photos clearly displayed signs of severe stress, such as nervous lip-licking, constant yawning, or tightly flattening their ears. To them, your loving embrace feels exactly like an invisible cage, leaving them completely unable to run away if any sudden danger were to occur. The most practical advice for you here is to simply replace those tight hugs with a gentle scratch on their chest, right under their chin, or near the base of their tail. This is the true way to show your love that they will actually enjoy in the most comfortable and relaxing way possible. 2. Being forced to smell strong, artificial scents. You might really love the smell of your expensive perfume, a fresh room candle, or a lemon-scented floor cleaner. But for the nose of a dog, which is tens of thousands of times more sensitive than ours, that is actually pure torture. Veterinary experts at Cornell University in the United States conducted a study back in 2018 and clearly warned that constant exposure to artificial scent chemicals can cause olfactory stress syndrome in dogs. This condition literally leaves them suffering from painful headaches, deep disorientation, and severe anxiety. Just imagine being locked inside a tiny, cramped room filled with harsh, burning chemicals. That is exactly how they feel. The absolute best way to respond is to prioritize using natural, completely unscented, or very mildly scented cleaning products in your living space. This simple change beautifully protects the incredibly fragile nervous system of your precious puppy. If you are startled right now because you realize you have accidentally made one of these first 2 mistakes, please do not hesitate to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your wonderful companionship gives us the strength to continue protecting the happy smiles of our four-legged angels. And please do not leave just yet, because the very next part will reveal exactly why forcing your dog to go out and greet a stranger is a terrible mistake that pushes them into absolute terror. 3. Being forced to interact with strangers or unfamiliar dogs. Many dog parents have a habit of gently pushing their precious puppy forward, cheerfully encouraging them to go say hello to another dog or a new guest arriving at the house, even when their dog is actively trying to pull back. According to a massive study focusing on social anxiety in dogs, published by the University of Helsinki in Finland back in 2020, the rate of dogs developing genuine fear due to these forced interactions reaches nearly 30%. In their deeply instinctual world, being completely forced to face an unfamiliar individual when they are simply not ready yet is perceived as a very real survival threat. The absolute best solution here is to always deeply respect their personal boundaries. Please let your own dog completely decide the right time and the safe distance to approach a stranger, instead of forcing them to constantly play the exhausting role of a perfectly happy and extroverted child. 4. Staring directly into their eyes. Humans naturally consider looking directly into each other's eyes as a beautiful sign of respect and genuine sincerity in communication. But if you do this to a dog, especially a completely unfamiliar dog, or one that is already feeling stressed, you are unintentionally issuing a direct declaration of war. Data collected from the Animal Behavior Department at the University of Pisa in Italy back in 2017 clearly explain that an unblinking, intense stare directly triggers the natural defense instincts of a dog. This instantly spikes the levels of stress hormones in their bloodstream. When you intensely stare right at them, they will feel completely overwhelmed and deeply threatened. The absolute best thing you should do is to use very soft eyes. Remember to blink occasionally and gently turn your head away when interacting with them. This beautifully sends a peaceful message and clearly proves to them that you are completely safe. 5. The absolute lack of consistency in your family rules. Dogs are wonderful creatures of habit that heavily rely on daily routines and clear predictability to truly feel safe. There is absolutely nothing that makes their little minds more confused and panicked than the unpredictable, constantly changing moods of their owners. Today, you might happily allow them to jump up and cuddle on the sofa because you are in a great mood. But tomorrow you angrily yell at them to get down just because you had a highly frustrating day at work. A psychological survey conducted by the University of Pennsylvania back in 2019 clearly pointed out that an inconsistent living environment is the leading cause of deep insecurity and destructive behavior in dogs. The most practical advice for you is to sit down with all of your family members, agree on one single set of rules, and stick to it every single day. Clear and consistent boundaries are not a punishment. They are actually the solid, comforting anchor that permanently provides your dog with a feeling of absolute safety. 6. Extreme isolation and absolute boredom. This is truly the most heartbreakingly cruel thing that many people are unintentionally doing to their precious pets. Dogs are magnificent animals with incredibly high intelligence and a massive need for daily physical activity. When you lock the front door to go to work for 10 straight hours and leave them behind in a completely empty house with absolutely no toys and no sound, they are not just feeling bored. They are actually suffering from severe mental deterioration. An in-depth study conducted by the University of Sydney in Australia back in 2020 confirmed that the total lack of environmental stimulation will literally shrink the neural connections in the brain of a dog, rapidly pushing them into a state of profound depression. Being locked up all alone with absolutely nothing to do feels exactly like the most terrifying solitary confinement for an animal that so deeply craves pack activity. Instead of leaving them to painfully languish in loneliness, please prepare some puzzle toys stuffed with delicious food, leave a little bit of soft music playing in the background, or simply hire a friendly dog walker. These small actions will perfectly keep their brilliant minds busy, mentally stimulated, and wonderfully happy. Raising a dog has never been just about providing food and shelter. It is actually a beautiful journey of learning how to deeply understand and respect a completely different living being. Sometimes true love is not about what we want to give, but rather about knowing exactly when to stop the actions that make our loved ones feel terrified. When you finally start eliminating these bad habits, you will notice that the way your dog looks at you will no longer hold any anxiety. Instead, their eyes will only show pure peace and absolute trust. Out of the 6 things we just went through, have you unintentionally made any of these mistakes? Please be brave and honestly share your experiences with us down in the comments section below, because recognizing our mistakes is always the very first step toward true love. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button so we can build a wonderful community of the most empathetic pet parents together. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the very next video.